defending the free market, and making the moral case for capitalism. The Justin Moore Show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Justin Moore Show, where we make sense of what's going on in this crazy, insane, out of control world. And now last week, as I was talking about the Contra Cruise, I just kept going. And I ended up doing I just did the debate analysis. So I'll just play this. I'll just play what I have to say about the debate right after this intro here. So if we look at what happened, since I've been gone on the cruise, we had a lot of crazy stuff coming out. All these videos coming out on Trump. Trump grabbing women by the kitty cat. It's just been crazy. Him and Billy Bush talking about women. I mean, you really, as I keep telling you guys over and over again on this podcast, you can't make this stuff up. It really is. It's like we're watching a sitcom here, but no, this is really happening. You can pinch yourself. Yep. This is reality here, folks. So, we're closing in on the election. Finally, it's been such a long time coming, and Hillary Clinton, actually, I saw a headline on Drudge where Hillary Clinton, she's lost 8 points in the polls in just 4 days. That's insane. This election has really been like a roller coaster ride. It's like, oh yeah, Trump, he doesn't have a chance. Now things have really tightened up. If you guys ask me, oh, hey, what's going to happen? Who's going to win this election? I really have no idea. No idea what's going to happen. And, I wouldn't be surprised at the end of the day, to see Trump, he wins the popular vote, and Hillary Clinton still wins the Electoral College, and she becomes the next president. But I don't know. Maybe Trump could squeak out a win. It's really tough to say. I'm not going to try to predict what's going to happen because it's anybody's game at this point. So I guess in about a week's time, we are going to know who the 45th president of the United States is. And I guess I should mention one other thing before I get to my debate analysis. I've been thinking about this. Should I vote for Gary Johnson or not? I said, for dang sure, I'm not voting for Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. They're both complete disasters, and they scare the hell out of me. But with Gary Johnson, just how he's definitely not seemed like a libertarian. All the stuff he's been saying, and his little running mate, Bill Weld, that guy is, of course, not even close to libertarian. If he was up on the Republican debate stage, during the Republican primary, he'd be a progressive Republican. He'd just blend right in. So, of course, but I'm not. But at the end of the day, I got to look at the top of the ticket. So if I look at Gary Johnson, you look at his record as governor of New Mexico, and hey, he did. He vetoed a lot of bills. He vetoed, more bills than all the 49 governors put together. This guy, he actually cut government spending in New Mexico. So he was acting much more of a libertarian, back in the, 1990s, early 2000s. And if you're just looking at his record, it seems like this election, and even in 2012, he seemed more of a libertarian than he is now. So I think I think Gary Johnson made a political stance, a political choice to try to grab the enthusiasm from Bernie Sanders voters. So trying to appeal to the socialists, which, me and listeners of this show, we are very far from being socialists. But I have said this on the show before too, that, yes, Bernie Sanders, he's completely wrong on all solutions, but he does, correctly choose a lot of the problems that we do face today. So, if we can, and I think we can pull a lot of people from the socialist movement over and show them a correct solution. So with Gary Johnson, I think he's playing politics. He's acting less like a libertarian than he really is. Now, I could be wrong on that, but I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. But at the end of the day, should I cast my vote for Gary Johnson or write someone in? I think I'm going to vote for Gary Johnson for the third party. And I also think about it this way. By voting for the Libertarian candidate, Gary Johnson. If he can get over that 5% threshold, that's going to send a message out there. And just think about this also. Okay, and I've made it completely clear on this podcast. I'm not like this cheerleader for Gary Johnson. Oh my gosh, Gary Johnson, he's some sort of god. You know, if Gary Johnson does get the best, does have the best performance of any Libertarian before, you know, that's not like kudos to Gary Johnson and how amazing candidate he is, because he's not. And actually, you guys are going to hear at the very end of this this podcast here, where I'm pulling out my recording from earlier talking about the debate, where I end the episode, basically calling Gary Johnson and Bill Weld two clowns, because he really does. He acts like a clown. He's not the best articulator of the libertarian message. But if the libertarians, if we can be seen as a little more of a force than we are today, think about that's going to encourage more competition in the future for better libertarian candidates. It's like look at based on look at the business world and how things work. When there's like a new innovation, think about when Apple released their first iPhone. I can't remember. That's the thing. That was 10 years ago now. And it was the first phone ever with a touchscreen. Look at the profit margins that Apple has. It's 20, 30 some percent. It's insane. So when you make a lot of profit in some sort of new technology or whatever, like in a market when it's still early and it hasn't matured yet, that attracts a lot of people, a lot of businesses to invest there because there's a lot of return to be made. And then eventually, like what happens in the business cycle, that market matures because there's a lot of competition that a lot have to drop out and go do something else because they can't make any money doing it. Well, I think by voting Libertarian, I think we have a potential to attract more people over there, realizing that, hey, there's more opportunity here than before. We actually can be seen as not jokes, So if we can take a bigger percentage of the vote, that would be good. So that's the main reason I'm going to vote for Gary Johnson at the end of the day. And because it really is scary what we've gone through this election cycle here. I guess I'll just leave it there. I just thought I'll let you guys know because this is my last episode I'm going to do right before the election on November 8th. Actually, by the way, November 8th, that was the day that Montana became a state. That's when we joined the Union. November 8th, I want to say it was 1881. Don't quote me on that. I haven't looked that up in a very long time, but that's kind of sticking into my head. So anyway, and let me just turn it over to myself, and let's talk about the final presidential debate. Now, let's just move on here. And just speaking of, now that I'm back to reality and I come back to Montana, and just when I get back here, it's like, it's the third and final presidential debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Now, I missed the second debate. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to still go back and watch it. But that's because that second debate was happening just when I was about to board the cruise ship. And I wasn't going to make time to watch a damn presidential debate, let me tell you. Believe me, okay? Now, with this final debate, I noticed, quite a few things, but Donald Trump, he had really canned answers. This is the most scripted I have ever heard Donald Trump, especially in the beginning here. He's talking about, the Supreme Court and how important it is, picking some new justices on the Supreme Court and all this. But the delivery was horrible. He's just monotone. You could tell he was just regurgitating memorized lines. And you could tell he didn't believe what he was saying. This is what I keep from Republicans that I know here around Montana. Even some of my uncles and so forth. They're like, I don't like Trump, but hey, the Supreme Court, man, it all comes down to the Supreme Court. And I remember telling these people months and months ago, it's like, you really believe Donald Trump is going to pick conservatives or like Scalia-like justices on the Supreme Court? Really? You can't believe anything that Donald Trump says. And just and as he was talking about Supreme Court justices, he wasn't believable at all. So I don't know what they're doing. Maybe it's wishful thinking on their part, which I really think that's what it is. Because it's hard to vote for somebody you hate, right? But hearing Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton go back and forth, it does make me wish. It's like, dang, I wish there was a third voice up there on the stage. Like, just clearing the muddy waters. Like, whoa, guys, you guys are both way off. Let me tell you how it really is. Believe me, and start using Donald Trump, But no, we didn't have that. Okay, with gun control. Okay, sure, Donald Trump, he sounded convincingly that, yeah, he's against gun control. But he does support some common sense regulations. But that's what Hillary Clinton was really going after, too. She's saying her same lines. Yeah, we need comprehensive background checks. We got to end the gun show loophole. And yeah, the common sense regulations. All the same stuff over and over again. That sounds so harmless. And as Hillary Clinton said, hey, these things that I want to do, they are not going to infringe on the Second Amendment. More regulations on guns. That is gun control. Okay, Hillary Clinton, all right? And then Hillary made the comment about the Heller decision. Now, the Heller decision, which was passed in 2008, which was decided in a decision. Actually, it's a landmark case by the Supreme Court that was ruled 5-4 in Washington, D.C. And actually, I was in Washington, D.C. when the Heller case, when that ruling occurred. Yeah, I was. And actually, I've never told you guys this yet. Here I am. I've done my show for over 2 years now. And longtime listeners of the show, you guys are like, wait, Justin, okay, you mentioned you're on Capitol Hill. Okay, what were you doing on Capitol Hill? Okay, let me tell you. I want to be upfront with you. I was an intern on Capitol Hill in 2008. Yes. So what I did, okay, no, let's just get the skeletons out of the closet right now. I was an intern for a senator, a U.S. senator, yes. But he was a Democrat. Yeah, he was the Democrat from Montana, Max Baucus. I was a little intern, giving tours of the U.S. Capitol. And actually, it would be great to go back to D.C. sometime just to see how they do tours now. Because when I gave tours, they were in the middle of building the visitor center, which is underground. And actually, I got a tour of that before it was even, finished. They had moved like a couple of the state statues down there. King Kamehameha had been moved down there. But it was pretty cool to see it. I think I have a video from my old phone showing the little tour I was on. It was pretty sweet. But now I think with the tours that they do, you actually start in the visitor center. When I gave tours, we started in the U.S. Senate building, which I was in the Hart Senate building, which is where his office was at. And I would go and I would take the tour group through the Senate building, and we would take the trolley, the little tram deal thing that runs back and forth, and we would take that thing to the U.S. Capitol. Now I think actually because of the U.S. senators and congressmen, they got their head in the clouds anyway. They think they're greater. They think they're better than everybody else. They wanted this visitor center so they could keep people off these trams. Because when you go on these trams, when I would go on tours, that's often when you would see a lot of these U.S. senators. I remember seeing, John Kerry, Orrin Hatch. I remember sitting in a tram with him, and I mean all sorts of these guys. Bob Corker, Lindsey Graham. Then that is how I'd mostly see a lot of them, just riding these trams back and forth, because that is what they take. So now with the visitor center, I'm pretty sure you don't even come anywhere close to that tram thing. Probably most people don't even know where that's at. So that's kind of unfortunate, because that was actually pretty cool. And then you'd actually take the steps up, and you'd be right there in the Capitol building. And actually, you'd pop up right, I guess they call it the Hall of Heroes. So I have no idea how they do it now when you start at the visitor center. But no, that was a really good experience being an intern on Capitol Hill. I went to, some hearings. Actually, the hearings, some of them I went to, is when Ben Bernanke was testifying before the Senate. This was, during the midst of the 2008 crisis, and even Ben Bernanke testified. Alan Greenspan testified before the Senate when I was in D.C. for a few months, and the Secretary of the Treasury. I can't think of what the hell that guy's name is, but he also was testifying. So it's there's a lot of stuff taking place when I was there as an intern. So yeah, now to be completely fair here, I interned for a Democrat on Capitol Hill. But then also, so that was in 2008. Then in 2010, I interned on a congressional campaign here in Montana for a Republican. So hey, I've worked on both sides of the aisle, okay? Yeah, so here I am. I am Mr. Unbiased here. I am Mr. Objective. Okay, so anyway, guys, enough about me here. Now, in regards to this Heller decision, basically the Washington, D.C., their city council, they banned handguns, they banned automatic weapons, and they required guns to be disassembled and to have locks on the trigger. Because, of course, and this is actually why Hillary in the debate, she brought up, well, see, this law, the Heller decision, the reason why she supported it is because these sort of measures that the city council took, banning these things and forcing guns to have locks on the triggers, this will protect the children. It will protect toddlers from shooting other toddlers and from shooting themselves in the head. Or like when little Johnny's got the gun barrel in his mouth, like, no, Johnny, don't put that in your mouth. Take that out. No. But Hillary, this is where you go way off. Okay? Do you really need to have a law to tell somebody, a responsible parent, that, hey, maybe you shouldn't have loaded guns, hanging around where kids can see them or reach them, because as adults, in general, we're a lot taller than them, so we could put it up a lot higher where they can't reach it. And if it's hidden from plain sight, they'll know not to look there, or make sure you not to tell your kids, because, hey, Johnny, make sure whatever you do not go, to the dresser by my bed. Don't go in there because there's bad news. Okay. But Hillary thinks a regulation like this, forcing people to have locks on guns, is going to protect children. Responsible adults will do that anyway. But actually, yes, it is important. Yeah, if you need to have access to a gun so that you can protect yourself. Like I have a loaded gun in my house, actually. Well, and I don't have any kids, but I have one of those safes with a fingerprint reader, and it's completely silent. It takes a half a second to open up, and bam, there you go. I have access to a loaded gun. So why wouldn't someone do that? You don't need a law. That's what I get so sick of with these politicians. Oh yeah, you gotta wear a seatbelt. Oh yeah, if you're riding a bicycle, you better put that dang helmet on, because we want to protect you from yourself. You guys don't give a damn about protecting me. You want to make it seem like you do. But you guys don't care. All you want is my money. Yeah, that's what you want. You want my warm body to help fund all of your BS programs so that you can keep and lock in your power is what you want. But no, the average voter sees people like Hillary Clinton, oh man, holier than thou. Oh man. So, okay, from this debate here, now let's just move on from the gun control thing. I was going to play a clip from that I had got from the debate, but no, I'm not going to do it. There's just two clips I want to play. And actually, these two clips that I have, they're actually very, very similar. I meant to get on the second clip where Hillary was saying that she pays for everything, but actually I didn't happen to get that in the clip I'm playing. But nevertheless, we're going to play both clips here. And even though that they are very similar, they're coming from this same debate, but so she's basically repeating herself. All right, with this first clip here of Hillary, let's just get right to it. Let's play it.
We are going to go where the money is. Most of the gains in the last years since the Great Recession have gone to the very top. So we are going to have the wealthy pay their fair share. We're going to have corporations make a contribution greater than they are now to our country.
Okay. Yes. So Hillary wants to go where the money is. Because, as she said, most of the gains in the last years, they went to the very top. Okay, so Hillary, in order to pay for her plans, like say free college for everybody, increase benefits for Medicare, increase infrastructure spending, to help rebuild these crumbling roads and bridges. So Hillary wants to go where the money is. So the question is, where is all this money? The dirty little secret is the majority of the money is in the middle class. Those are the people who will get soaked, and they are the people who continue to get soaked. But no, they continue to vote for these politicians who continue to bend them over a barrel. That is what's happening. And just like what Hillary said in her statement, so most of the gains in the most recent years, they have gone to the very top. Well, yes, Hillary, that's right. It's true. Because why, Hillary? Why is it? Well, we have an inflationary policy by the Federal Reserve that benefits the rich because the rich can protect themselves from inflation. Hillary, I don't see you attacking the Fed. Well, the Fed wants to have at least a 2% inflation rate, because that's important. It's part of their mandate to have a stable money. Well, I don't get how 2% inflation over year is a stable currency. and also in the way that the Fed's been talking, and I pointed this out in recent episodes before I went on the cruise, that the Fed actually isn't too concerned if inflation goes above 2%. That's probably good. Yeah. And I'm trying to think here also. Okay, so we have an inflationary policy from the Fed that's benefited the rich. Yes, because they can protect themselves, buying precious metals, investing in the markets. But who's been president for the last 8 years? Let's see, based on what Hillary's saying, okay, everything's going to the very top as of these recent years. So it must have been some greedy, rich, fat cat Republican guy, right? Yeah. No, it's been President Barack Obama, one of the most divisive presidents in modern American history. What was his whole campaign in 2008? Okay, yeah, it was hope and change. And he talked about inequality. We got to, go after the rich man. We need to spread the wealth around a little bit. Go. That's all we talked about, like with Joe the plumber. Yeah, the rich have too much money. We just got to give a little more to the poor. We got to give everybody a chance, as Obama always likes to say too. But after 8 years of this guy who's been all about the poor, all about inequalities, the first black president who's done more to destroy the black family. And here's Hillary Clinton. Yeah, everything's going to the very top. Well, here we are. Because of unintended consequences by these big liberals in Washington, D.C., these politicians, how they want to they say they want to help the poor. But no, they help the rich. But that is another thing. How much of that is intended? Yeah, sure. These politicians are completely incompetent. They actually will never build the things that they want to do, the groups they want to help. It'll never happen. Those will be the groups that they destroy. Like with Obamacare, with the Affordable Care Act. Well, it's made healthcare more unaffordable. All these, it's example after example. How these guys continue to hurt them. Oh, they want to raise the minimum wage. Well, that hurts people who make the minimum wage because the job they once had working at minimum wage, now that job is gone. It disappeared. The business either has automated to get rid of that job or they just had to get rid of it because they can't afford to pay someone and lose money. It doesn't make sense from the businessman or woman's perspective. But no, the politicians, they don't like to think at the other consequences that their laws have, the effect that they have in the long term. Now, there's also some interest at hand with these politicians like a Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton, where they never want you to be prosperous. They don't. They want the poor to remain poor, because if you're always dependent on government, then that's exactly what they want. That's when they have power. Look at you in your own life. Is there anybody that you're dependent on? Say, I guess obviously it's not going to be my audience, but say other audiences out there where you're always expecting, a little bit of money from mom and dad. And what happens when they don't give it to you? Well, then, you're kind of screwed. You rely on that money. They have power over you. Okay, yeah, I'll give you this money, but can you do this and this for me first? Then I'll give you your little money so you can go spend it on clothes or whatever. People love being in that position of power over you. That's exactly the position these politicians want to be in. They want you begging at their feet. And, we libertarians, we small government, we free market types, that's the power we want to take away from these politicians. We want the power to be in the individual. You go make what you want with your life. The level of success you reach in your life, you are rewarded with however much money you make. The more people you can please with your products or services you provide, the more money you make. That's great. Then the more you get to keep. But no, the politicians, you then become an enemy. You are now the rich. You're someone who has to be attacked. And we've got to take from you to give to those who are less fortunate. And people, and that's also a game of envy too, isn't it? So it's just sick what these politicians do. It's the worst of society. They're the ones who rise to the top, who become these politicians. Case in point, Hillary Clinton. She just disgusts me just looking at her. No, it's not. No, I'm not saying that in a Donald Trump sort of way, like, oh, Hillary Clinton's a pig, a slob. I'm not saying anything like that. No, it's just disgusting, like how she uses the system, how she got rich off this system, her and Bill Clinton. They're giving these speeches to these greedy, quote unquote, greedy bankers, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a speech. And is there really so much value in a Hillary Clinton speech that she's worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a speech? No. It's a way of getting access to these politicians. It's a legal way to bribe a politician like Hillary Clinton, is what it is. And they give it through a speech. And here we have Hillary Clinton, who has a good chance of being the next president of the United States, being the first female president of the United States. Here, Obama, he was Hillary. Never mind. And now let's just I'm really going off the damn rocker here. Now let me just play this second clip. Even though this clip I'm about to play is very similar to the one I just played, I'm going to take this discussion in a different direction. Let's play it.
So when I talk about how we're going to pay for education, how we're going to invest in infrastructure, how we're going to get the cost of prescription drugs down, and a lot of the other issues that people talk to me about all the time, I've made it very clear we are going where the money is. We are going to ask the wealthy and corporations to pay their fair share.
Oh, yes. So Hillary Clinton, she's going to ask corporations, they need to pay their fair share, even though in the United States, we have the highest corporate tax rate in the world. But no, that doesn't matter. But yeah, we need, again, to go where the money is. So let's go after these corporations. Let's go after the rich guy. But here's a question we have to ask. Okay, if Hillary's right, if the rich aren't getting soaked, if it really has been the middle class taking it on the chin, then, so maybe this is a way that we could fund government. Yeah, we just got to go after the rich a little bit more, so here's the question. Is Hillary really correct here? Have we really, as the laws are today, are we really not going after the rich man? Are we really not soaking them enough? Well, I did a little bit of research here, and from the Tax Foundation, this is what I've come up with. Get this. Every income group besides the top 1% of taxpayers reported higher income in 2013 than the previous year. All income groups paid higher taxes in 2013 than the previous year. Okay, the top 1%, which is 1.3 million filers, they paid a greater share of income taxes, which is 38%, than the bottom 90%, which is 124.5 million filers, and they have a combined 30.2% that they paid in federal income taxes, okay? So the top 1% is paying more at 38% than the bottom 90% when they come in at 30%. I mean, that's crazy. Now here, I have it broken down, so it's a lot simpler to digest here. Now all this data is coming from the federal income tax data from 2013. And here it is. Top 1%, as I just said, they pay 38% of all federal income taxes. Okay? The top 5%, they pay 59% of all federal income taxes. The top 10%, they pay 70% of all federal income taxes. Then we have the top 25% of taxpayers. They pay 86%. Okay? So just looking at that data right there, that tells me that the rich are paying the vast majority of the bill. So what the hell is Hillary Clinton talking about? We just got to go where the money is. Well, right now, if you say it's all the rich have all the money, they're already getting soaked. And so far, it's the middle class who really, that's where the vast majority of filers are at. And here, get this one. Now here, you can play games with the marginal tax rate, this and that. But if you look at what is the effective tax rate that the top 1% pay, when we look at that, what is the actual percentage of their income that's being taxed? Well, the top 1%'s effective tax rate is 27.1%, while the bottom 50% of taxpayers have an effective tax rate of 3.3%. There you go. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The top 1%, 27% of their income is being taxed, while the bottom 50% of taxpayers have an effective rate of 3.3%. So Hillary Clinton, what the hell are you talking about? What do you mean we just got to go after the rich guy, go after these greedy corporations. They're not paying jack for taxes. Are you kidding me? This 2013 data I just read, this is the most recent data available. And this is why Hillary Clinton is such a liar. And that's what I kept hearing her over and over in that debate. Lie after lie. And of course, Donald Trump, he's not capable of defending himself or defending free market economics at all because he doesn't understand the free market. All he understands is cronyism and using the laws in his benefit, which, yeah, okay, I'm all for that. You want to use the laws so that they're in your favor. We got to. I want to pay the least amount of taxes I possibly can. So I'm going to take advantage of that. Yeah, I think that's completely fine. I mean, there's some people that call it hypocritical that libertarians will take subsidies and that sort of thing. But I don't really see that as hypocritical. Like, I'm just trying to keep as much money as I possibly can. Now, I want all of the subsidies to disappear. I don't care. It's farm subsidies, you name it, subsidies. They should all be gone. Subsidies distort the market. They make us all worse off. Because, it's so funny with these politicians when they subsidize certain things. I mean, when you subsidize something, you get more of it, right? So you subsidize farmers, certain crops, you're going to get more of that specific crop. Well, now you got to have more subsidies so that you can, we got to guarantee you this price. So they have to keep fixing the problem with more government intervention. It becomes this never-ending thing. Then we have these farm bills, which actually 80% of the farm bill it's the funding that goes towards food stamps, which we have 1 in 6 Americans that are on food stamps today. I mean, everything is just such a gigantic mess. So yeah, we can go after farm subsidies, which we should. And, there's a lot of people who aren't farmers that, those farmers, they're living it high on the hog, Well, yes, I am a farmer. And you have to think about this also. How many people who are farming today actually shouldn't be because maybe they're too inefficient at farming? But these subsidies, they keep them able to continue going, right? So you're promoting inefficiency. That's what you do with subsidies. And of course, this is only one example. This is just one part of the economy. Look at everybody. Everybody is getting some form of subsidy. Oh, electric cars, they get subsidies. So it encourages people to buy the electric car so we can save the planet. It is just such a mess. And why I don't hear Donald Trump talking about cutting spending at all. He doesn't want to reform entitlements. Neither does Hillary. She wants to increase entitlements. And Hillary has the really good chance of being the next president of the United States. And she doesn't want to cut at all. I mean, how much more of a case do you need for buying physical precious metals like a gold or silver? Protect yourself, to get yourself out of US dollars when people like Hillary Clinton are going to destroy the US dollar. We're going to continue to spend money we don't have with $20 trillion in debt. And here, Hillary Clinton, I'm going to balance the budget just like Bill Clinton did, my husband. Well, get this, Hillary. First off, Bill actually never did balance the budget. Okay, sure, yeah, you want to count in, the Social Security, which during the time of the 1990s, Social Security, we actually had more coming in than people were taking out in a year. So they added that, and they counted that so it'd be a surplus. All that's supposed to be, quote unquote, in some sort of lockbox. Okay, so say you're getting more in. Well, yeah, but that's got to pay for future retirees. So that's not a surplus in Social Security. We have trillions of dollars of a shortage for Social Security. Just the madness that's taking place with politicians today in this world. I come back from this cruise and I completely had forgot about, just all the madness taking place. Then then it's this debate that happens right when I get back, basically. It's like, oh crap, I forgot about these two clowns, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Oh boy. And so now I've got to go back, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. You have to laugh it off. That's the only way, we as libertarians, we have no candidate that really represents what we believe. Gary Johnson, he's a clown too. He looked like a damn fool on that stage with his little eyes shifting back and forth. And he's the most inarticulate guy available. I mean, I'd rather have Mickey Mouse up there, actually Donald Duck, he'd make a lot more sense than freaking Gary Johnson. Then there's old Bill Weld, but here we are. We're just going to have to deal with it. At least someone like Hillary, as I've stated before, she is so hated by people in general that she's going to lead to more and more mistrust of government, a woman who should be in prison. So she may be what we need to make it so we can lean in a more libertarian direction. It seems more and more people are becoming libertarian. But so far, it's obviously not enough. So anyway, guys, that is all I have for you guys today. I just thank you guys so much for being here. I'm happy to be back here in Montana. And I have to say, guys, if you can help support me out over here, just go to my website, go to justinmooreshow.com. More is spelled MOHR. You can make your own Amazon purchases through my website. It costs you nothing extra. And you can also, you could donate directly to my show. If you donate $50 or more, I'm going to send you my bonus episodes. I'll tell you how to save a boatload of money. When you're traveling to Vegas, I'll tell you how to get nights comp free, how to get complimentary drinks, all sorts of stuff. And I even give you 2 stock tips on how to benefit from the gold and silver bull market that's been on pause for the last 2 months. And it is a great time to jump into these stocks. Oh man, you guys want to make a quick 30%. Holy smokes. The way these stocks have pulled back, you have your opportunity right now. A lot of people were thinking, and you just never know that, oh crap, is it really just going to take off and there's no way I can get into more of these positions? Here's our chance right here. This could be the last breath before it really jumps to the next higher levels before it pulls back again. So guys, if you want to help protect your wealth and you want a way to profit from what's coming, and be like one of the rich people out there where you can benefit from inflationary policy from the Fed, or if you want to suffer like the poor will during the next crisis, it's all up to you. And if you believe like I do that gold is real money, that eventually we'll go back to that. It honestly seems like gold and silver are just such no-brainers were to put some of your money today just to protect yourself. So if you guys could do that, donate to my show, buy your Amazon goods through my website, leave reviews for my show on iTunes, all that sort of stuff. You just come back here next week. I'm going to talk about something. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to be back here next week, and I'm looking forward to it. This is Justin Moore signing off.